Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bay Area Content Marketing Meetup. Today's talk is titled The AI Alchemist Copywriting System Transform Your Copywriting Lead into Gold. We're joined by Donovan Rittenbach. Donovan is a longtime member, first-time presenter. So thank you for that, Donovan. What we're going to cover today, or what Donovan's going to cover today, as I mentioned, the AI Alchemy Copywriting System. Donovan's going to dive into the psychology that drives buying decisions and show you how to craft messages that resonate. And now with AI in your toolkit, you'll do it faster than ever. Donovan will walk us through exactly how to spot what makes people tick, turn those insights into headlines that grab attention, and build compelling stories that make readers reach for their wallets. No fluff, just battle-tested techniques that get real results in your business. And with that, Donovan, take it away.
Hey, cool. No pressure. Woohoo. I sound fabulous. All right. Let's see. Copywriting is it's really interesting because I would say 10 years ago, if I would somebody said copywriting, I would have, like most people thought it's going to be content writing or I'm just writing copy. And I've learned that's not the case. That really, it's about getting people to take action at at scale. We'll get into this a little bit more. It's about sales, so hopefully it'll help you be more persuasive. It has changed me as a marketer, really helping me understand my audience and how they think, right? Because, that's going to be absolutely essential. Let me just dive into things here. Everybody can see my screen, okay?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Try again. Here we go.
Yep, we see your cover slide.
Okay. So the idea of alchemy is you take something worthless and you make it valuable, right? And there's a lot of great examples of this. Art is one of them. Writing words by themselves have no value, but when you put them together in the right order, in the right way, you can get amazing results. And I'm just trying to figure out my Zoom chat here for a second. Okay, there we go. You can get amazing results, and that's what this is all about, is results. You want people to click, sign up, buy, whatever, now, not later. And it's pretty uncommon in the marketing world. But here we go. So, sales copywriter, I'm putting sales in front of it to be completely clear, right? I've also written 4 books, and one of them is on how to use AI in a way that I'll talk about in a second. Most of the artwork that you're going to see in here on the slide deck is my AI artwork or my micro photography. So I like to take pictures through microscopes, and it should at least be visually interesting. I'm going to say prompts are dead. And what I mean, which is kind of interesting given the title of my book, when I first started this, diving into this space about 2.5 years ago, everybody's like prompting, prompt engineer. It's having a conversation. It's asking questions. It's a dialogue and an exchange, and that is where you get the really good stuff. So, as far as I know, there's not a lot of people who are talking about how to interact with your AI in that way. And this book really dives into how to have that conversation. Now, I'm a magician, which is, I mean it, like I do. I was at a magic competition last night with magicians. So it's this is why it matters, though. I view the world through this lens that comes from Arthur C. Clarke, who said any sufficiently evolved technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that really got me thinking, because we're here in this space with AI where things are just weird, right? Like our world is just like getting destroyed, or something big is happening, and it's all around language. We had the Gutenberg's printing press 400 years ago or so. That was amazing. Then we had the internet, which was a revolution in the exchange of words and knowledge. And now we're at a whole new level of language use. But it all began, when we started writing this stuff down, when we started sharing it. It is the single greatest technology that humans have ever invented. And if you look at the etymology of it, if you look at the linguistic history, this is where magic begins and so many levels. And I will say that words are magic. That's why it's called spelling. It's right in front of us all the time. We don't even think about it. But, when you write a message and you send it out to persuade other people to do what you want is very literally casting a spell. You're casting that broadcast, right, to send out. And it was something you wrote. So think of that, because that's going to be the frame that we're going to be viewing this all through. It's going to be hopefully relatively exciting presentation. By the way, you can tell it's AI, right? Like these just horrible faces. But anyways, and where'd their legs go? But doesn't matter because we're diving in. How copywriters turn worthless words into spells that sell. The AI Alchemy Copywriting System is this. You're going to get a little bit of it, a flavor of it, because copywriting is probably one of the most challenging types of writing that I've ever done. You have to have a deep psychology understanding, as well as knowing how to use your words and persuasive structures. But I'm going to give you a lot of tools that will help you bump up your persuasiveness and get better results. The reason why I got excited about copywriting ironically, before AI hit, was that I was sick of tech changing all the time. And tech changes, but people don't. So I wanted to do something more human-based, right? Well, surprise, life threw a curveball. So we're going to be using, fortunately, timeless copywriting techniques. And when I mean that, these are, the techniques that were developed a couple 150 years ago. They're not going to go away because they're human-based and they're just rock solid. What's copywriting? Let's dive into that. So when I'm going to refer to it today, this is direct response copywriting. It's a persuasive technology. This is David Ogilvy, the father of modern advertising, and he was a top copywriter. He said this is expert salesmanship multiplied by a mass medium. So you write the words and you're going to send it out in a magazine or whatever, and it's going to, a lot of people are going to see it, right? Rather than having a one-on-one, you're going to reach tens of thousands of people potentially. Now, it's about getting results now, right? Not brand building or whatever. It's buy, click, sign up, and results matter most. So even if you got to have some typos in there, whatever it takes to get people to read your copy and read it all the way through and do something, anything goes. So we'll get into that in a second. It's not content writing. Love content writing and education. Love creative and literary writing. This is not it. It's not brand building. It's not wordsmithing. And, when I say wordsmithing, you might think, oh, you write copy, and I'm going to explode that myth in a second. The skill set of a copywriter is empathy. So you got to think like your audience, not like yourself, right? So you're thinking about, you're really trying to get into their head and think of the world from their perspective, because you're going to have to frame your persuasive argument from their point of view. It's probably the most important skill is going to be listening, because you're going to ask questions and you want them to talk and tell you what they were thinking when they were going to buy your product or when they bought your product or whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. A lot of research, tons of motivational behavioral psychology, consultative salesmanship. So you're asking questions, supporting, trying to understand what your people want, and then usability, expertise, and storytelling. Some examples of tools of the trade: conversational writing, right? So writing like you talk, structures, using problem, agitate, solution. Here's your problem. Let's make you really, get it and feel it, and then we're going to come up with the solution. And my solution is what you're going to buy, hopefully, because you understand the value for that. Other tools, proof stacking. How many ways can you stack different forms of proof? What is voice of customer data? You don't want to write copy if you can help it. You want the customer to tell you in your interviews what it is they want and what was on their mind, and use that, like literally copy and paste it as much as possible, because this is stuff you can't even think of. The way that they're going to articulate how they think about your product, it's invaluable. And there's tons of other persuasive devices. Now, right? Lots of different ways that you can, wherever you sell, doesn't matter. Email, websites, landing pages, case studies, presentation decks, and the psychology, for example, on a sales letter, the psychology is going to be, where is my customer at the beginning of that letter, and where do I want them to be at the end, and how do I build a bridge that gets them logically, emotionally through to that mental transformation. Now, your goals, right, are to get people to give your hard-earned cash and buy now, right? Whatever it is, coaching, products, services, events, classes. By the way, this is a peacock feather underneath a microscope. Love that shot. So in the chat, in one sentence, what's the one thing you want your reader to do? Like, do you want whatever it is? Let's go with, whatever you're writing, what are you trying to get people to do? Yes, Confessions of a Madman in Wikipedia, absolutely rich. Does you want somebody to buy something from you? Do you want to get people to sign up? Do you want to, if you could get people to do one thing, hire you? Yep, that's a good one. Join the meetup group. Okay, great. So the biggest mistake the thing that I think is our biggest mistake is that when we talk from our perspective, right? Which is, oh, we're great, we're an amazing whatever. And don't you love us? Versus what's the problem that your people are trying to solve? What's the job they're trying to do? Job is to be done as a framework, by the way, of persuasion. So, what's in it for me? That's the key word, right? Like, okay, I'm going to join your meetup group to what? Like,
Gain knowledge and build your network is always our pitch. Like I want to be a supportive community where, because every day I learn how much I don't know. Sorry to interrupt your
yeah.
presentation, but like, thank you for presenting because now I'm learning from you. So I think you're right. It's not join our meetup. Well, so what? Gain knowledge, extend your network. Solve world peace.
Well, yeah, and those are so here's where you get into some interesting stuff because that's the first level, okay? And if you do a second order analysis, for example, with ChatGPT, that's what you say it will give you additional like, okay, I'm going to join the meetup so that I can network, so that I can what? So that I can get job, so that I can future proof my employment, so that I can learn new things, new technology that's coming up, so that I can write you. So as a copywriter, you're gonna just nerd out on the why at a level very few people do. Trying to get at the deep emotional um, stuff because that's what makes people move. Logic doesn't make people move. People do not buy with logic, they buy with emotion and rationalize with logic. So I'll try and get into an example of that a little bit later. But for right now, I'm going to say let's do a little bit of the assemble your lead. Or talk a little bit about what your lead is, right? So the lead is the stuff that is worthless. This is quote unquote worthless. You're going to turn this into gold. Market research. Um, this guy, Eugene Schwartz, wrote a book called Breakthrough Advertising, one of the best books on writing you will ever read. If you get a chance, it's $400 on Amazon. I belong to a marketing group where I was able to get it for $75 because the guy who runs the group, Brian Kurtz, was good friends with Gene Schwartz, and he made this book available to us. It's the thing that was amazing about Eugene Schwartz, who is one of the best copywriters of all time, sold billions of dollars, is that it always began with research. For all of these copywriters, it's knowing your market inside and out. And I'll explain what that means. You're not going to be able to do this, but I'm going to be able to get you pointed in the right direction so you can do it a lot better than you probably are. Now, right, because this is the biggest rookie mistake I see over and over again, is people making up the why rather than pulling it out of like a Reddit forum, right? Like you can do research into Reddit with Perplexity, and people will literally tell you why they did whatever. Like this is called voice of customer data. You also have to understand your market. What's your competitors' messaging? What is the sophistication and awareness of your buyer? Do they know that they have a problem yet? Or, excuse me, have they already come up with, the different stages of awareness? Do they know what the problem is, know what the solution is, and they're looking for you to fix it? Or, where are they at in terms of problem and awareness level? Then you definitely, right? The foundation of empathy is you gotta form a theory of mind. And that's that's a keyword that you could type into ChatGPT and say, what's theory of mind? What's empathy? Any of this stuff that you're seeing on the screen, you could ask that, and it will tell you empathy is learning to think about how other people think about the world so that you can persuade them, like in negotiation, for example, so that they think it's their idea to do it because I'm so smart. And that's what you want. You don't want them to be sold. You want them to come to the conclusion on their own. And that's hard for people who like to tell it like it is and give people the answers. So, um, peacock feather, love that shot, like under a microscope. No judgment, right? Doesn't matter. Are you a right wing conservative? Are you a left wing liberal? Doesn't matter. Just trying to understand how you think so I can get you to do what I want you to do. Interviews, testimonials, transcripts from phone calls, whatever it is, you want to use the client's own words. Look at that. I will try to read that later. The goal is, right? Think like a fish, not like a fisherman. So fishermen study their prey in great detail, right? Where does it live? What bait does it like most? What depth does it live at? What are its hopes, dreams, fears, and frustrations? You want to be able to write a journal entry out of their diary because you understand them that well. Now, once you've assembled your research and yeah, you will refine your lead into gold. And the way that we'll do that is by creating a word scaffold. So the AI will connect the dots. That could be a transcript. It could be any written content. It could be a brain dump. So let's take 3 minutes. And what I'd like you to do, you could do this inside of ChatGPT. Just make sure you don't hit, enter it too soon. Do it in a text editor, whatever. I want you to write about something for 3 minutes. Doesn't matter what it is. Total stream of consciousness. Okay. Uh, just don't stop typing if you can help it. All right. So let's do that little test and you'll see something really interesting here. So I'm going to hit start and just start writing. Just, I'll go quiet and let you do your thing. Just keep writing, no holding back. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. Just keep going. And you're at the 1 minute mark, so one more minute. Just top of mind. Let it go. Thirty seconds. Okay. And you're done. Okay, so in an age of dopamine fixated rushes, 3 minutes seems like forever, but here's what you're gonna do. Take and I think you got to hit shift return, whatever it is that gets you to another line. Say, what do you make of what I said? And so like take a look at what it told you, right? Like for me, it says I was just writing garbage, but it says you're hitting on something real, raw and real. The alchemy of thought through writing, the way ideas just unfold when you start putting words down, even if they seem random or disconnected. That's the magic. Uh, does anybody try do a second order analysis? Let's see what happens. All right, let's go deeper. So now it starts breaking it down to explore your writing, right? The meta level, writing is process versus product. Your writing is both exploratory and reflective. And it goes through and it gives a bunch of interesting stuff, right? So this is, um, one of the key things about AI is it's a thought mirror. It's not intelligent. That is a con job, all right? It's a reflection, it's reflecting you based on the words you put into it. And you can put any words you want into it. And you'll get back just a bunch of database associations that appear to be real and appear to be intelligent. So what you've just done is you've created a scaffold that is like, I'll do this with a journal entry. You could just journal something and ask it to tell you, what do you make of this? And it'll reflect your brain back to you. It's great stuff but now what we're going to also do here is, right, we're going to refine that lead into gold. We're going to have a conversation. By the way, that's a BI underneath a microscope at 100 times magnification.
You're not
My
sure.
shot.
Yeah, Donovan, you're off of your slides now.
I am?
Yeah. I see I think your notepad type.
That's interesting. Computers are your friend. Thanks.
Okay,
There we go. There it is. So that's
All
a
right.
bee's eye.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is oh man, I could talk about that one, but I'm going to skip because time is short. So here we go. Right? So AI doesn't write like normal people. It has a bunch of jargony stuff in there. And here we go. Bring some order to chaos. So organize these thoughts. Choose one of those. Organize these thoughts. Turn this into a LinkedIn post or make it more diplomatic. So just go back to wherever your ChatGPT conversation is. Turn this into a LinkedIn post. Say, Let's see if I think my ChatGPT might have hung. So let's just go back and do another chat real quick. So you could say, turn this into a LinkedIn post, make this more diplomatic, whatever it is you want to say. I don't want to get hung up on that. But if you were to say something like, write a LinkedIn post using PAS about about what I just gave you. Let's see what it says. Write a PAS post. Write a LinkedIn post using PAS. Let's see what it says. So it already knows what problem agitate solution is. It should. Okay. So here it goes. The filthy truth about writing and why you're probably doing it wrong. This is all I wrote. I wrote just like a bunch of seemingly garbage, right? And here it's going. The pain part. Ever sit down to write and feel like your brain just locks up? You have a vague idea of what you should say, blah, blah, blah. Here's the agitation. It's going to make it, right? Make it, build it up, and then here's the solution right before you think. Dump your thoughts on a paper like an unfiltered, chaotic mess. Write what you feel before writing to shape it into what makes sense. So because of AI, you are not a writer in the sense that you used to be. And this is an identity shift. You used to put a letter in front of a letter and make a word and then make sentences and then make paragraphs. Now you're a copy chief and an editor. You are, right, a totally different level of writing. Now, ADA is another one, attention, interest, desire, action. But if you just say pass, that's a great place to start. And you saw how little I wrote and what it did, right? To make it really pretty good. Now, here's another thing, write conversationally. So when one of the common denominators with copywriters is that they love to write like you talk. So if I were to say, speak casually, right? It's going to start going through, oh, you're onto something. That rambling, unfiltered mess you just wrote, that's the good stuff. That's where the real thoughts live before they get edited to death. Most people think they need to know what to write before they start writing, but nah, that's backwards. You write to figure out what you think. Hey, that's pretty engaging. You're just like in it, right? That's the thing with copywriting is that you want to sound like you're having a conversation with a friend over a drink. Brevity is a virtue. So don't use cliches, fluff, or buzzwords. Speak clearly and concisely. Yeah, sometimes AI can ramble, and that really cuts the fluff. These are useful. Some of my favorite utility spells. Because I'm a features guy. Turn features into benefits. That's what you're selling. You're selling benefits, not features. So just tell the AI to do that. You don't have to do it. Change I to you. So if you're writing like, I think this and I think that, that's wrong. You should be using the word you as many times as possible. You. I don't want to go change that and change the verb tenses. Boom, it's done. Or change this to the active voice. People a lot of times, I'll write in passive or whatever voice, and it's like, oh, I got to go through and I got to edit that. Nope, just have ChatGPT do it for you. All right, refine more. By the way, that's a jewel beetle wing. Love it. Unique perspective. This is where you start getting In marketing, you don't want to sound like the other guys, because if you sound like the other guys, you're going to get put on snooze, right? You want to sound freaking smart, and it can be hard sometimes. So this is a Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy is kind of a god in the copywriting world. He was just at ClickFunnels in Las Vegas, and he was saying, be the marketing heretic, right? So what that means is, what's the one thing everybody knows about whatever but nobody's saying? You type that into ChatGPT. Let's just do that right now. I'm going to here, because maybe you can't think of it, right? So the one thing everybody knows about prompting, but nobody is saying out loud, your prompts are probably boring. Most people treat AI like a Google search bar. They type in stiff, lifeless requests and wonder why they get generic, uninspired results. The truth is, and it goes through and it tells you a whole different perspective so that you can be, right, that thought leader, that differentiator that's thinking about things not in an echo chamber. You're thinking outside of what's going on with everybody else. And it works for anything. Whoops. All right. So another thing, tell people what they're doing wrong and how I help them fix it. Now, one of the best things you can do is repeat your prompts just over and over again. So how would you improve this? Critique this copy for persuasiveness. So how would you improve this? This is one of your most amazing capabilities with an AI, is because, right here, core idea is solid. Let's sharpen the edge, tighten the punch, make it hit harder. The dirty secret about prompting that no one's saying out loud. Everyone knows this, but no one's saying it. Your prompts are probably boring. So it goes down through. Now I could keep saying that over and over again, and you'll keep getting, it keeps refining it, and you'll get some great stuff. Now, you could also say, critique this copy for persuasiveness, right? This is all just conversational thinking. Any questions so far? Yeah? Okay, here we go. Next thing that a copywriter always does, you got to test for results. So you got to get your stuff out there. You got to get feedback from people. That could be on a web page, wherever it is. Test, throw it out there, do your best, get it out there, and iterate, based on feedback that you get from your audience. And remember, AI didn't kill the copywriter. It promoted them to editor, copy chief, and research librarian. So the more you, like Rich was sharing some stuff off of Wikipedia. Take anything on Wikipedia and drop it into ChatGPT. Just copy and paste the page and say whatever, write a LinkedIn post about persuasive technology or whatever it is, or give me the executive summary or anything. You are the librarian, right? This is, by the way, this library is the Grimm Library in Germany. This is where it's named after the brothers Grimm. And right, because I'm a huge fan of knowledge, and man, I wish I could suck up all the books in here. Well, guess what? All you got to do is know how to ask the right question, and you're already well on your way to doing that, right? I'm a poet and a novel writer. You know what? This is one of the things you got to understand about AI and the AI revolution, is that you are that special, your skill set, your experiences, all of that is what's going to give you unique, interesting output, right? So as a poet and a novel writer, oh man, you got killer chops. Like, words that most people don't, right? Like you could say, Write this in pentamic pentamic iamb pen, yeah, anyways, iambic pentameter, or whatever, right? Any literary device, you can just make it happen. Write this as a poem, rhyme it, whatever. It may not get it right, but it'll give you some ideas, right? So, anyways, in conclusion, try to think like your customer. The more you can put yourself in their shoes, the better. Use a proven persuasive structure. So you're writing an email, just like use PAS to make this right email more persuasive. Speak conversationally so that you feel right. That's why you, by the way, why you jotted down just stream of thought is you want to be conversational. You want to be uninhibited. You want to be natural and authentic, right? And when you say speak conversationally, you've already been speaking conversationally. And so it should do a pretty good job of sounding like you. If it doesn't, then you can say, use my language. And it will specifically use your original language. So it sounds like you, because you want it to sound like you, right? Um, Again, never trust an AI, always refine it. Again, the 1 + 1 = 11. You got a magic thought mirror, a magic genie, and like, you know, you are the only you in the world. You are the only one with your body of knowledge, your experience, your unique perspective. And AI is going to take your thoughts and it's going to reflect them back. And that's where you're going to get the real magic out of this stuff. So, got a pretty cool free ChatGPT cheat sheet. My friend Erica uses this all the time. You may already have one, but you don't have mine. The book, if you want to check it out. Asking AI, by the way, to write a 500-word blog post is like having the world's most advanced robot fetch the newspaper. Like everybody talks about how the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Well, guess what? The universe has answered your wish and has given you kind of like a god of omniscient intelligence that you can just ask anything that you want. Just shift your perspective, right? And remember, prompting's dead. Have a conversation instead. This, by the way, this guy, he's in my in my marketing group, a fellow wizard. Breakthrough advertising, amazing classic. Hardly any things. Notice all the wonderful like reference points around mine. So it's going to be packed with gems, different way of thinking. That's what it's all about. You can just pop over here. I got this set up. There's some links for you. Would love to have a call with you. Volker, we haven't talked in a long time. If we get a chance, it'd be awesome. Yes, Rich.
I meant to react with applause. I think I raised my hand, but thank you. Eye-opening for sure. I really appreciate the guy who's like, what's in it for me if you present? Well, I don't know, what's in it for you? I should have recast it a different way, but thank you for presenting today.
And you can literally tell the AI that, right? What's in it for me? What's in it for my customers? Why does my customer want this? Like, write it so that, they'll get what they want out of it. And it's just that magic, right? You just got to know you're the right thing to have a conversation about. Does anybody else have questions or thoughts?
So here's a question for you. How has your feedback from your customers changed How do you think your work has changed, and how has your feedback from your customers changed since you started using AI in it?
Um, that's a good question. I I feel like so I've used AI on the few projects that I've used it on for the copywriting because I've been doing other stuff as well. They love it. So, for example, like these guys. So what I did is I went through 150 testimonials. Fortunately, somebody had tons of voice of customer data. I ran those through, did a sentiment analysis inside of Claude, and was looking for patterns, blah, blah, blah. Came up with, right? I'll just read it. Where your loved one is treated like family. So basically, everybody else is pitching just a location, was trying to go for something a bit more emotional, right? We know how much this decision means to you. You've been searching for that place where your loved one will feel safe, supported, and a part of a community. Here, they'll find more than care. They'll find connection with the caring staff, cozy spaces, and engaging activities every day brings opportunities to belong, laugh, and thrive. You can rest easy now. They're going to feel at home here. I think it sounds pretty good. Like, I want to know more. And that's the whole point, right? Get them down the page, get them into the site, get them requesting a tour, and so on. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
I have a follow-up to that, Donovan, which is I'm sure you have different types of clients, but to what degree do they care that you're using AI? And are there any that are, and or do you disclose that up front? Like part of my process involves AI in creating the copy.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to hide, and I will tell them if I think it matters,
Okay.
right? Like the key thing is that I'm always looking at it, right? Let's put it this way. You build a house. Do you say, I built the house with this hammer and this tool? I mean, this tape measure? No, I built the house, right? I take responsibility as the writer. And I know, like, that's the other thing. I don't want to cause confusion because I know that whatever I'm putting in there, I've pounded on it. I've not just accepted the first thing that it gave me. I've said, gone through the conversation and honed it to make it better. So, and if I have a conversation with the client about it, everybody's using the AI, of course. You don't use Google? Like, right? Like, you'd be crazy not to use this stuff. It's just you got to use it well. That's all.
Got it.
Hopefully, I gave you some tools that will help, whatever.
Yeah, I know for me, for sure. Like a lot of your approaches and even some of those sample follow-up prompts are something I've never tried. So it really has been useful to me. We have a few more minutes. Anyone else? I know there was a comment from Adrian. I'm not sure if you want to come off mute to add more color, Adrian, but she's a poet, and she said she's struggling on utility from AI for poetry. Do you have any feedback, suggestions specific to that, Donovan?
I love language, right? So turn that into iambic pentameter. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, this is what Shakespeare wrote. So we're talking sonnets, we're talking, stuff like that. So you think your prompts are strong, I tell you no. They're stiff and dull, no fire, no soul, no flow. You type like Google's reading every line, then wonder why the words won't snap, won't shine. The truth, AI just mirrors what you bring. A hollow voice will never learn to sing. So if you feed it lifeless, limp, and dry, expect the same to spit back in reply. I just wrote that and I can share it with the world if I want to, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, okay, it's overly patterned. It is overly patterned. And I guarantee you, you put that in front of anybody, I mean, they'll have fun. They'll love reading it, right? And congratulations, you just, incorporate a little bit of Shakespeare into your life, and that's always good. I think I'm going to keep that. Oh, by the way, here's my tip. So, if you notice how we started out here, right? Got this thing. I just blah 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 blah. Down here, we did some pain agitate solution, right? And then I asked, what is, right? As I refine this, what is one thing everybody knows about prompting, but nobody's saying? And then I'm like, okay, how would you improve it? This is called chain prompting, by the way. And then as you go down through it, right, use my language. So I wanted to use my words. And now at the end is when I say turn it into iambic pentameter. I didn't just start out that way. You got to give it context like a human, right? And because of that, now I have something I think is kind of cool and I could throw up on any social media and feel good about. So I'm just going to save it in a Word doc. Everything that I think is of value, I stick it into a Word doc because that Word doc could later be used to train the AI on patterns or whatever, right? So it's that's the hardest part is content creation is the easy side of things. Organizing it, finding it again, that's where it's challenge. All right.
Donovan, thanks so much for your time today. I am personally inspired to do more with AI after seeing all these things you're showing us. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
For everyone else, thanks for joining us. We have a couple more talks scheduled. There's one in April, and I think there's more coming. So check the meetup page for our next events.
I'll give a quick shout out, Dennis. If you're in the Bay Area, late April, there's an in-person networking at Fieldwork in San Mateo. It's right on the Hillsdale Caltrain. Check our page. Maybe Dennis even comes from Chicago. I forget where you're located, Donovan, but if you're around, around on me. So Thank you again.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to play with AI. All right. Ciao.
Cheers.